Hello and welcome to this corner of the internet where Miss Busi lives. I'm Busi and today is solo dating day. I'm going to the prison break market somewhere in Midrand, Kailami. So this video is just me getting ready for the date, showing you what's up when we get there, but also reflecting on the importance of solo dating, especially if you're single. So while I'm doing my makeup, let's chat a little bit about this idea and why it's so beneficial, it's so important to do things like this for yourself, especially as a Black woman. The reason why I'm emphasizing on doing it, especially because you're a Black woman, and a Black woman who unfortunately in the South African context hasn't really been exposed to much of the world in terms of socioeconomic background. I come from humble beginnings. I am not a person who can say, you know, my parents had the best means possible in the world to take us out on just random dinners and vacations and things like that. My childhood was an average township childhood that didn't really have space, right, for doing leisurely activities or recreational activities such as maybe going on a vacation or just randomly on a Sunday afternoon, you know, taking the kids out for lunch and stuff. I mean, it would happen here and there, maybe on a birthday celebration. I remember there was a time when McDonald's really became the go-to for birthday parties. But generally, like, my mom would throw birthday parties for me in the house and, like, you know, set up nicely, decorate, and then my friends would come and there would be cake and that would be it, right? I was too young to remember us going to Durban, but apparently we have gone to Durban as a family at some point. But yeah, I just never really grew up, and like I think most people grew up around just the culture of recreation, leisure, discovering what you like, trying things out, hobbies, activities, restaurants, different kinds of cuisines and things like that, right? To top it all, okay, I need to come in here and clarify to say I'm not meaning that African parenting in the context of a township was inherently wrong. I note that there were leisurely activities that we did in forms of play, in dancing, you know, enjoying fruits from a tree, sitting under a tree with our grandparents and things like that. I'm just saying that we were not necessarily exposed to the capitalist way of leisure in the form of restaurants and vacations, etc., as we have them today. And more often than not, you find that once you do work, once you have the means, you want to access these spaces that, because of the socioeconomic conditions in townships, we didn't necessarily have access to. To top it all off, never really having a father, even as I entered teenage and young women adulthood, that built that relationship with me, right? So I don't have enough of that evidence or being accustomed, right, to the way of dating where I would just naturally expect, right, or I would naturally be comfortable in environments of, like, you know, fine dining restaurants and 5-star hotels and things like that. So over time, I feel like solo dating and doing these things by myself has really enabled me to build that. So it's almost like a reparenting thing where you build that culture, where you build that comfort, where you're able to sit comfortably in spaces like that. And I think that is so key as someone who is navigating the dating scene, because more often than not we end up in situations that we don't want to be in because a man has suddenly introduced you to something that you're not really used to. And for him, it's like bread and butter, but for you it's like, oh my god, right, he took me to this so expensive restaurant, or oh my god, he took me to this jazz festival, and oh my, so suddenly you're clouded by those experiences instead of actually being able to sit and vet that person for who they are beyond those experiences. So I think for me, maybe the most crucial benefit of solo dating has been that my ability to bring myself into spaces and into worlds that I didn't really get an opportunity to be in as a child, but also being able to build that experience, that expectation, right, for myself and also for others, to say, this is, you know, the culture, this is the way of life that I'm used to, and so you need to meet me there. Secondly, I think, so I'm going to look away while I do this because my mirror is in this direction. I find that it allows you to find things out about yourself, what it is that you like, what it is that interests you, and once you have found what interests you, you don't have to have an entire conversation with someone else about whether or not this thing is interesting. You just get to go and do it, right? Because we like this thing of getting confirmation from other people to say, yes, you are correct for liking what you like or being interested in what you like. For instance, the kind of music that I've been enjoying of late is not the kind of music that my peers, for instance, back at home, would really appreciate so much, so that we can go out and attend a conference together. Not a conference. The academic never sleeps. Not a conference, a concert. You know, it's like no one is gonna say, yes, let's go and watch Jabulile Majola in concert. It's a taste of music that I've developed or built on over time, and most of it were decisions or choices that I've made as an individual to say, let me try and listen to this person. Or maybe I see a social media post of, you know, one of these artists, and I hear the sound, and then I start getting interested in that, and then I listen to it. And that's me as an individual. And then I see, oh, they have a concert, or they're playing at this place, then I want to go to that place, right? So it's that thing of, I don't have to negotiate with someone else whether a particular experience that I want to have is worth having. And I think that's what keeps us, you know, from, I'm never going to do my makeup talking like this. If you find out that actually I don't like this vibe, I don't like this space, then that's fine. No harm done, because anyways you were doing this thing alone and you don't have to think about it ever again. So I think it's so important because it allows you to discover yourself and what it is that you like. And the key also in being able to discover the things you like is that once you are with someone else, whether it's a friend, whether it's a romantic interest, you know what you like. There's nothing more embarrassing, I think, than someone asking you, what do you want to do? Where would you like to go? Where would you like to eat? And you don't have an answer to that. Like, you're just like, I don't know, anywhere that you want to go. I don't think that is very attractive either to an opposite sex or to a friend who's like, this person. So I'm supposed to be the one who comes up with the interesting things that we do all the time. That's not fair. That's not fun. That doesn't make you an interesting person, right? And then you start blaming the person who took you to that place or to that thing for the negative experience that you had. It's like you couldn't decide in the first place what you want to do and where you want to go. When you get there and you realize that actually it's a negative experience, you have other people to blame except yourself. The next reason I think solo dating is so important is that it does give us space to decenter men and romantic relationships, because you are able to realize that you can have these experiences without having to wait for a romantic partner. I mean, most of these things are romantic by nature, so there is a tendency for us to want to wait so that we share those experiences with people romantically. Romance generally enhances the experience of something, right? So you'll say, I will go on that vacation, I will take that weekend getaway to Hartebeers or to Kruger National Park or whatever the case is. I will go and try that fancy restaurant someday when I get a man. And it's like, what if you never get the man? What are you gonna do then? Would your life have amounted to you just waiting for someone else before you are able to enjoy the pleasures of the world? Because this world has been created for us to enjoy. When the man comes, he must find that the train is already moving. You're already in motion. You're already energy in motion, right? And it's his decision whether he comes onto the train and he enhances the ride instead of dampening it and slowing it down. And it's not that you're waiting for him in order for the train to start moving in the first place. The next thing I find to be such a great benefit in terms of solo dating is that it allows you to build your self-confidence by just going out into the world by yourself. No company. You're your own company, having to deal with the feelings of, why would I want to go out alone in the first place? I don't have anyone to go out with. It must mean that no one wants to spend time with me. What would I do when I get there? Will people be looking at me somehow? Would anyone want to speak to me when I'm there? Well, if no one speaks to me, it would mean that I'm not even attractive in the first place for people to come and speak to me. There are so many thoughts, right, that could be going through your head, making the prospect of actually being out in the world by yourself so daunting. And it's like, if you're able to cut through all of that noise and actually take the courage and just go, half of the job or the work of building self-confidence has been done. Because now you're like, look at me now, I'm out, despite the fact that I feel like this about myself, right? And you find that over time, those feelings, those thoughts, those voices start to disappear. In terms of what are people gonna say, what are people gonna think of me while I'm out, some of the best conversations and interactions I've had while I was out were when I was out alone. Why? Because somehow I think that because it's just your energy in the room or in the space, the people that actually align with your energy are able to be drawn into your orbit, if that makes sense. If you are sitting with 2 or 3 other people, it's like now a whole mixture of different energies, and sometimes you don't get to socialize or connect with other people. They find it difficult to come to you. Even with dating, you find that when you go out with a group of girlfriends, if it's like 5 of you, it's difficult for a man to penetrate through that and actually, meet you where you are. You're gonna have to exit the group in order for you to engage with them. But if it's just 2 of you, there's not so much energetic overwhelm, right, that a person is able to actually identify that they want to speak to you. And the more people you engage with that align with you energetically, the more you align to the path that your life is supposed to take, the direction that your life is supposed to take. And the easier it becomes for you to disengage or remove yourself from situations that no longer provide growth for you, right? So yes, obviously your people are your people. You can always, go back to the people that you used to hanging out with, but it's like we think the same way, we have the same opinions, we have the same habits, right? So it's difficult for us to grow outside of the social group that we are used to, just because it's so comfortable, right? So you are drawing more people and more experiences in your life that align to the kind of person that you are becoming. And obviously, it goes without saying that solo dating is also a form of self-care and a form of self-love. How do you feel when a person reaches out to you and says, hey, there's a show going on here and there, I thought maybe we could go? Or they say, hey, would you like for us to go for drinks sometime? Or hey, would you like for us to go to a restaurant sometime? Or when they think about going on a vacation, they're thinking about you, and they plan that activity for the both of you. Doesn't it make you feel so special? Doesn't it make you feel special to know that someone is thinking about you and making plans around you and actually executing those plans and paying for that experience for the both of you? Doesn't it make you feel so good? Right? So imagine if you did that for yourself. How much better, right? To know that you're not only the person that does that for yourself, but you're also receiving that from yourself. It makes you feel so much more important and valuable. It's a wonderful way to build evidence that you are loved, that you are worthy, that you deserve all the beautiful things in the world, and that you deserve someone who will actually prioritize you and make plans for you and around you, so that when it actually happens, it's only confirmation of something that you've always known for yourself, because you've been doing it for yourself. So the other benefit has to do with the aesthetics of it all. I think the more opportunities that you get or create for yourself to be out in the world, is the more you get to create a personal style, a signature look, that go-to makeup look that that you can put together for like 15 minutes and you're out the door. Those outfits that are guaranteed to make you look good in any occasion. I think that's important. You develop and you're able to build on that, right? To see what is your personal aesthetic. And I think that makes you more interesting. I think that just means you have so much more to talk about, so much more to show, as in like your personality and your character, because it does come through, right, in what you wear, in how you present yourself in the world. It's really nice to be able to test different looks, try out different aesthetics, and see what you actually like and gravitate towards. So this is the look, except for the mascara that still I need to wait for it to dry, because I smudged it on my crease, and then I'll wipe it off. This is the look. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm wearing and then we can go. I'm already late, by the way, but it's fine. Right, so this is the final look. This is the makeup. This is the hair. I actually did my own hair. Can you believe it? And I'm so pleased. It's so pretty. Anyways, I just have the same tank top that I've been wearing while getting ready. with the shorts underneath, and these are like barrel pants or balloon pants, whatever they call them. And I just like, yeah. And then I got like these pointed shoes, and I threw on this shirt because, like I said, we are kind of in spring, but it's a bit windy. I think this is such a cool outfit. It's, you know, not fussy, but it's also very classy. So the next thing that you're going to see is the market itself, and hopefully it is beautiful as I expect it to be. I'll see you there. So Prison Break Market is made up of a variety of sheds, 7 to be precise, and there's a map showing where you can find what. So I started at the crafters shed, and you'll find a variety of artisans, you know, making things, clothing, leather, handbags, etc. Beautiful art. I was manifesting a time when I'd be able to buy art like this in my life. But I did manage to get myself this diffuser. The shop smells beautiful as you enter, so you are tempted to actually take something from this shop, and I'm glad I did, because this jasmine scented diffuser that I got was amazing. They also have candle making classes, and it's something I think I want to go back and do. It's so beautiful. And speaking of making things, they also have the Create Shed. Here, people are doing a variety of different things, painting, etc. And here is where people bring their kids to play games while they enjoy the market for themselves. I then went to the harvest pantry. How much are these things?
100 gram, 150, 120, 220 for two.
Let me taste this one.
This
Yeah, it's too lemony. It's too lemony. It's nice. So obviously, if you're not careful here, you'll end up buying the whole place. I got this cutie for 200. It was 285, but they said they're running a thing where if you follow their page on Instagram, you get a discount. So I got a 85 rand discount, so I got it for 200. And then I got this diffuser. Hopefully it smells good and it fills the room. And finally I got this jalapeno sauce for 150. The diffuser is 550. So I haven't even been here for 30 minutes. Can you imagine? Anyways, let me go put these in the car and then go find something to eat.
Aye.
So afterwards, I went to the poorhouse, and this is where I spent the rest of the evening over a beautiful glass of wine. They also serve food, but I didn't get some because obviously I already ate. But the views from there were also so beautiful. You can people watch, and it's just so enjoyable, so quiet, but also so vibey, if that makes sense. And as I usually do, I ended up in another table completely. And like I said, this solo dating thing, you end up meeting the most interesting people, having the most interesting conversations. And we had a conversation that lasted until they wanted to close at the poorhouse. So we went back to the yard and hung around until they wanted to close as well at 9 o'clock. And then I came back home. It was so much fun. Guys, like I said, do this thing. It was so satisfying. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.